my councilman here. He just walked in. And he's not just my councilman in my district, he's also a friend, a dear friend of me and my husband, and I've known him for a long time. So thank you so much for walking in, Councilman. Well, first of all, General, this means a lot to me for you to be here, to have taken the time out of your busy schedule to come into our community. And I'm known for these small groups. This is how I do activism. And I love to bring roundtables together. And I like to bring, whether it's law enforcement, faith leaders, business owners, whatever it is, I like to sit down and hear what you all have to say. Because at the end of the day, and I said this yesterday in a podcast, I can sit here and be a senator, but at the end of the day, I have to serve you too. I have my belief system, and I have my values, and I have my principles, and I'm not going to, cower down or how can I, my compromise, sorry, that's my word, I was trying to figure out my word. I'm not gonna compromise my value system, and I never have. And the one thing that the political system does not like about me, I'm literally up against an establishment and an RNC. They don't like me because I'm a firebrand, as Steve Bannon calls me. I'm a game changer. I'm a history maker. I stand with my principles and my values, but yet at the same time, find a way to still serve people and care for people. I learned very quickly, because I'm a very on the go. You can ask I'll tell a story about my husband. So my husband is a sergeant, and this is his little crowd. And so, and I think Rico, weren't you a sergeant?
No, but he worked.
But he worked with you. And both sergeants in narcotics. Very tough job. And so I had decided to stay home. And his squad, you talk about me being a workaholic. I breathe, eat, and now live at what I do. But you talk about a workaholic, that's him. So his squad found out very quickly, well, not very quickly, actually it was along the way. They found out, they call me Queen Bee. They said, did you know that if you get Queen Bee's number and she calls him, we can go home because he'll be doing surfboards all night long. So I was just recently endorsed by the Texas Narcotics Officers Association statewide. Okay. Thank you. And Mark Ong, who retired from the HPD, he calls me and he says, "Listen, little lady," and he says, "I'll never forget that time that the rest of us didn't know, but Opie knew, and Opie had your number," and he's like, we just finished 3 search warrants, and there's Tony in the truck, and he's saying, we gotta go do these other, whatever, street bus or whatever. They're like, it's midnight, and he still wanted to work. And so, Opie's in the back, and they don't know what he's doing, but he's calling me, and he's like, I got it. And so, Opie calls me, he's like, Queen Bee, you gotta help us out, man. He's trying to do something, it's just midnight, we are tired, we gotta go home. And I said, I got it. So no one else knew what was happening, and so Mark says, I'm sitting next to Tony, and he gets a phone call. And all I hear, because he's like, we're gonna go and do this. And so he goes, all right, guys, call it a night, y'all go home, I gotta get home or something. So they found out that, people think I'm a workaholic, but my husband is a workaholic. And so, I just learned, his work ethic. And my parents were also, they were hard workers. But, truly in a household, when you're in a husband and wife, and we raised 2 boys, our value system is in our household. And so, and that's why, police officers are very dear to me, and veterans are very dear to me, because my 2 brothers are veterans, my husband's veterans, many of you are all veterans. But I always tell this story, my little brother, is a 100% disabled veteran. And that's why I started to speak out for him. Because they were, Hillary Clinton was saying there was something wrong with the Veterans Administration, and my brother contemplated suicide because he couldn't get a doctor's appointment. They told him for 6 months. And that's unacceptable for our veterans. And I don't care what political side you're on. It's unacceptable for our veterans.
Amen.
So I almost lost my brother, and that's why I started to speak out. And then police officers were getting killed every day, every other day, every week. I mean, there was lawlessness. And I said, you know, I can't sit back anymore. I can't just sit here and do nothing. And, you know, I was known as a little community activist around my community. And I mean, Thomas knows that. I mean, I'm just always all over the place in the community. But that's where I started to speak out, because my heart, and that's how I want to represent at the end of the day. And I think that, you know, I think it's sad right now that everything has become so politicized. You can't, you know, there is, like he said, compassion. There should be common sense, but everything, even the toothpaste you use, is going to be political. I mean, it's ridiculous what this country has come to. And so, you know, but talk about shaking it up. They don't want me in there, because I will hold people accountable, you know, and I want to be a voice. I want to be a voice for our culture. And this is something that people have asked me about. I've done a lot of Hispanic engagement because of our principles, you know, and I grew up and I was born, raised Catholic. But my mom said, you know, many years ago, Bianca, this party doesn't no longer represent us. I mean, I don't know where they're going, but we're gonna, you know, she told us 7 children, she's like, we're gonna have to vote different. I mean, we literally thought she had dementia. She voted, and we said, well, we didn't listen to her. But she literally, till, you know, November, when it was time to vote, she called every single brother and sister and said, did you go vote? Did you go vote? Then we finally said, oh my God, just go vote, just vote, just vote. Because she wasn't gonna leave us alone. It was very important to her. And in a Hispanic community, you know that the mother really is the boss. All right? We don't take it away from the man, but we do run the household. And we do have a say-so. And, you know, and our men can go out there and they can be bulldogs, and they can stand firm, but behind them, if you have a good wife, your husband will be successful.
Hear, hear.
And that's what my husband always said. And I've been very, very supportive of him in his job. And I've been blessed to you know, have been with him for this, you know, just 20 years. You know, in high school, they said I was going to be, you know, product of my environment in the barrio. I was just going to, you know, they're like, oh, she'll have 7 kids and be on welfare. And, you know, this is what they talk about in the barrio. And so my preaching to the Hispanic community is, I never go in and tell them, you're a Republican. I tell them, this is why I vote the way I vote. These are my principles, my values. At the end of the day, I just want you to be educated and know that there's choices. And these are my principles. And I'm not going to divide from them. But the one thing that I don't like that has happened to my community is that I feel like they've been used. You know, used by political systems on both sides. Wave with little carrots all the time. And I think that it's very important that we teach them and educate them to be civically involved, hold people accountable, and to become productive citizens, but to also let them know that when it comes to political party systems, they have choices. We don't traditionally always have to vote one way or another, but you vote your principles and your values, always. You look for the best person that's gonna represent you. And that's the one thing that I think has gotten us so far from where we're at. And so, you know, like I said, I was born and raised Democrat. And my husband was always a conservative, and the reason, and I always say, why do you vote Republican? Are you crazy? I first married him. And he said, because we need the court system. Ain't no, what's the point of me going and arresting these criminals and they just get let out?
No,
we don't
that's
got good
right.
judges. So that's always been his advocacy. He wasn't a Republican because he was all party. He was because the rule of law. And he as a police officer needed good judges that let cops do their jobs. And so that is what I've learned in my household. So we do need good judges. We need reasonable people that, you know, these politicians, what I've learned in the past 4 or 5 years is that it's become a power and a money thing for them. You know, that's all they care about is going back into office, raising their money, and becoming part of the system. And they come all the time, and they knock on our doors, and they tell us all the changes they're gonna make, and we're still have the same problems. Or worse.
Or worse.
Or worse. And I'm like, what have you done in 20 years that you've been there? And you promised me. Now you're misrepresenting me.
That's right.
So, you know, there's a lot of issues that I think that we need to, for me, and why I'm running is obviously, you know, border security is very important to me. Now here, there's two sides, and this is, you know, because I look at Rico and not because I'm not gonna single you out, Rico, but I think about our community, because this is always something that, you know, oh, pues pobrecitos, and the poor people, and this and that. But you know what I always say? I was like, look, guys, you don't understand what's really going on at the border. See, I've been down there and watched that, what's going on at the border. If you haven't, you should. What I am a voice for, the reason why I'm for secure borders, is not so much because I hate illegals, is because I hate that they rape children and women to get here.
Here.
I have heard story after story after story. We have a state director in our organization that has an independent border network news. He goes and he films every night, and he's talked to the women. And when he talks to the women, he says, what was one of your most dangerous journeys here, from wherever country you're at? And the women say, I have to sleep over my children, because the men, you know, I can hear the little girls screaming at night. Okay? So it's not that I don't have compassion for people. It's that I have to be a voice for those women and children who are being exploited and raped to get here. That's why I want the border secure. I want to know who's coming into our country. And I believe, you know, that we need to come up with a better system where people that do want to come work, they can come work here. But here's the thing, they come in here illegally, and there's a lot of illegals here that have been here for 20, 30 years that have been contributing to this country, okay? They've made it all the way through. And I have these illegals coming back and going, hey, you better put a stop to that. And I'm like, well, you came here illegally. And they're telling me, but I've established myself 20, 30 years. These people can take my job. And I'm like, well, isn't that something? But they get it now, you know? And so, to me, it's like, it's not so much about you coming and working here, and then these illegals, they get stuck here because they came to work here, and then they can't even go back and visit their family. So we need to come up with a better system for them, okay? We need to know who's coming into our country. I am all for the border wall, only because I have sat with Border Patrol agents and heard their needs. They're understaffed. They're the one agency that loses their Border Patrol agents all the time. And they're the hardest ones to get a job with than the FBI Secret Service. And they're the first line of defense of our national sovereignty. Per Border Patrol agent, they get one, AK-47 or AK-15 or whatever, per 10. So they have to share. They don't even have the proper resources, where the cartel has everything on the other side. That's what they're up against. So in last August, you know, they kept, you know, this administration gagged them. They couldn't speak to anybody. They couldn't speak to it. They got no voice, nothing. And they would send me stuff, and they're like, you gotta get this out. Help us out. Man, help us out. Because I've been feeding Border Patrol agents since 2019. Going down there and letting them know that our Latinos, our organization, we had their back. And we cared about them. Because they have a tough job. And I just wanted them to know that. So we fed Border Patrol agents. We made our rounds between Brownsville all the way to New Mexico, because El Paso covers New Mexico sector. And those guys are under so much pressure. In August, they finally told me, they said, because they were giving me the numbers, and I said, holy mackerel, this is how many people are coming in and we don't even know. They said, we don't even have the way to process them. We're just letting them go. No way to even know for them to return to court, nothing. They're just overwhelmed. The counties down there are overwhelmed. They can't keep them, you know? So they told me in August, they said, I said, you know, I'm fixing to go on a platform, and you know, what do you need me to put out for you? And they said, we've lost all control of the border.
Yep.
And this was last August. And I said, I'm sorry, excuse me? We've lost all control of the border. I said, like a sector of the border? No, we've lost all control of the border. We have no control, nothing. And I said, all control? Yes.
Tell them the exact words that they told you, because they have such an impact.
we are getting our
We're getting our
assets,
assets handed down to us. And,
quote unquote.
quote unquote, yeah. The morale was down. Nobody talks about the suicide rate right now for Border Patrol agents. No one's talking about it. And it's there. It exists. And that's one of the things that they've been promoting, or advocating for, not promoting, but advocating for, is they need help down there. They need that wall, but they don't just need the wall, they need other resources, other technology to help them. Because what has happened is the cartel is so organized, and you all know as police officers or ex-police officers, the cartel is so organized, and they have become even more organized, that they use and exploit these caravans. So in the meantime, they come, and then each agent spends 3 to 4 hours processing each individual. That takes away manpower, and the cartel is pushing in drugs, pushing in whatever is that, that they're trying to come in through the country, and while the Border Patrol agents cannot now do their job. And that is what is happening. That is why I'm very strong on border security. And the election integrity thing for me, because these are some of the top issues for me, is that for the first time, because I did so much work in the Rio Grande Valley, and they, principally valued biblical principles, and they really believed and came out to vote. And they saw so many things. They got run off from the polls. They saw a lot of things happening at the polls. We got affidavits, and it really, the Hispanic community's morale went down. They said, we finally went out to vote because you told us our vote mattered. And it didn't at the end. I had one eyewitness that said a rental car pulled up, and the driver threw a stack of IDs into a bucket. The guy ran in, came back out with a machine, and then just went through the machine. That dilutes our vote. It's my Hispanic community. It diluted their vote.
Yep.
It's the one thing that's very important to us, and it's a constitutional right to vote. And that was wrong. Regardless of how you feel, you don't ever take somebody's vote away. Regardless. If they wanna vote this way, so be it. That's the way they wanna vote. If they wanna vote this way, so be it. I've been a presiding judge here in this precinct, 352, and I've ran elections. And I know where my values are. And I saw so many people come in, and I'm staunch conservative. I saw so many people coming in, and they were running into the poll, and they were like, do I still have time? I gotta vote for Beto. And I'm like, and I didn't sit there and go, treat them any different. I knew what I believed, and I just said, oh my Lord. But I don't express that.
That's
It's their
it.
right.
You gotta help them.
And you gotta help them. And you go, okay, hey, sure, let me come get you a machine, let's check you in, no, you still have time. They have that right. I can't stop them from that. Just like they shouldn't stop, if somebody comes in and says, oh, you're automatically Democrat, just because you're Hispanic. We shouldn't be labeled, and that's what I fight is for all of those things. And I currently have a Supreme Court case right now at the United States Supreme Court that we've been fighting since last year on election integrity. And so what I did is with the Blacks for Trump and the Latinos for Trump, what we did is we combined efforts, filed a lawsuit to redo the 2020 election, but based on the violation of civil rights. And so they passed 2002 when everything happened in Florida with Gore and Bush. They passed the Helping America Voting Act that extended to protecting our vote from the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And so pretty much down the line, all those guidelines that they're supposed to follow, that the states are supposed to follow with the Helping America Voting Act, they pretty much violated them. And so, a journalist said, Bianca, you're the Rosa Parks of today. And I said, no, not really. I'm just standing for what's right. Because I know that, so many people really believe to go vote on a value system, and that, it was taken from them. And, and it's wrong. And I know that the other side has also fought about it. They said that, that the other side is wrong. So I honestly, truly believe that we have corruption on both ends, which is
Right.
why I'm trying to go into the system. okay, because there is corruption on both ends. And that's why I say, you know, look, I'm up against the establishment and the RNC, and they don't want me, because I can't be bought, and they've tried. They have tried. They've offered me book offers, more pay, because I didn't get paid, but when I did, they offered me more pay, book covers. What do you want? You want a position, an appointed position? I said, no, I don't want any of those. They're like, well, why do you do what you do for? Because I care about my community? I don't understand. Why was that so hard to believe? That I just cared about my community. I just wanted them to be educated. That's all I cared about. I didn't want more money or a book offer. So I never planned on running for office. But here I am, because we're in a time of, in this country where Cubans and Venezuelans have come to me, you know, 4 years ago and said, if you do something about your country, you're gonna lose it. And here we are today, watching it just crumble. You know, everything that our founding fathers laid out for us, it's crumbling, and it shouldn't have to be like that. And that's what's really sad, and that's why I'm stepping up to do what I'm doing. And I want to be a voice for the people. I want to be accountable for them, but I do still plan on representing my core values and principles of who I am. And so I won't change that. And I think that pretty much the political systems have figured out that they can't buy me out, you know? So, and I guess like General Flynn, I'm on that January 6th committee too, you know, speaking of, I wasn't even at the whole, I was asleep, so I was like, oh, I don't know how, you know, I mean, it's just crazy. Targeted, I don't know why, some effective leader, or, cause, you know, they think I was in a.
They wanna make everybody afraid. They wanna make everybody say, if I can go after you and get you, that's why, you know.
It makes me run away, they think I'm gonna run away, or.
That's called a tyrannical government right there.
That's what I'm up against, you know, and you know, I told my husband, I said, here we are. I said, you know, I got arrows coming at me, and I'm trying to run this campaign, and you know, I was like, but God built me for such a time.
Amen.
He prepared me, and that's what keeps me grounded. It's really the Lord, and I just rely on Him. And you know, I just thank Maria. She's here from another county, and my campaign manager, but also my VP and my organization, and she's really helped me throughout these past.
Let me say something to these people, 30 seconds. The old saying, never let a good opportunity go to waste. And in this case, the opportunity of having you people here in this room with us, it's very important to this campaign. I'm standing behind Bianca because I know her on a personal level, and I know her heart, and I know her drive. She is dedicated to this cause, the conservative movement, the America First principles. Thank you to General Flynn for being here and drawing these people that wanted to come and meet you. But I wanted to say, in regards to that, Bianca is not we're asking for your vote, but she's not asking for your vote because she wants to go to Austin and fall in line with the Good Old Boys Club, okay? Those of you that know her can attest, can vouch for this. She's going there to rattle the cage and to make a change. And so I ask, as her campaign manager, as her friend, I'm asking for your continued prayers, because this is a tough fight. We are literally up against the establishment and the RNC, okay? If you don't know what that means a lot of money and a lot of people set in the old mindset of traditional politics. She is not a politician. She is a grassroots Christian, constitutionalist, conservative, patriot. And so with that, I'm just asking you humbly for your prayers and to please consider voting for her during this primary. Thank you.
And if each person tells 5 more people, 10 more people, that multiplies. Share my message, share who I am, encourage people to go vote for me in my district. And that's how we make change. That's a grassroots activism. That's how we make changes. Is the people, we the people, civically get involved and encourage others, and make sure that between February 14th and February 25th, which is early voting, and March 1st, is that you remember and put it in your calendars that you're to call your friends in my district and remind them, go vote for Bianca Gracia. We need her to be our mouthpiece. We need her to represent us, because she's the one that's going to really rattle the cage and make change. And that's what I ask of y'all. And then any of you that want to,
Visit your website.
visit my website, Bianca for Texas, fortexas.com. And also, volunteers, anybody that wants to make any phone calls, if you want to block walk what I'm doing is making it to where we're in your neighborhood. Just if you just go do, I'm not trying to send out people all over the place, but if I can just hit your neighborhood and just leave my literature, talk to your neighbors, encourage them to support me. And then I know you're dying to say something back there. Yes, you are. Joe? Yeah, no, not that one. Joe? I know you're dying to say something back there. Dear friend of mine, Joe.
Nobody just like talk about money, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm a businessman, I'm here to help her. I don't make anything with what I do for her. But I wanna tell you, she's awesome. I've only met her like 2 weeks ago, but she speaks from her heart. I mean, she's speaking what I wanna say. I want somebody up there that says what I say. I don't want somebody up there to tell me what I wanna hear. I want somebody up there to say what's in my heart. I serve, Jesus Christ and Him alone. And so I want somebody that has the same courageous spirit that I feel like He's put in me. Because there's every one of us here that have it in us. We've been defined by God, not by man. And she's established that in the words she does, by her actions. We're not talking about somebody that's gonna talk to us. She's doing it and telling us what she's done.
Exactly.
I mean, how many people you get up there and you just tell you what you wanna hear? I've been in politics a lot of years. And it's unique to find somebody that'll stand for the principles, stand for at their sacrifice, and do what they say they're gonna do. General Flynn did it in a service for this country. She's doing it for a service for her community. So, I'm a businessman. You gotta run your money. You gotta get money to run your business. And she needs money. There's things that she's doing she didn't know going into it. She could just do it based on the things she's doing. But there's consequences of things that cost. So if you have the opportunity to give, or you know somebody that has money to give, or you know somebody that has a lot of money to give, talk to them. Let them know, hey, if you're gonna put money somewhere, put it somewhere it's gonna do some good for you. You're seeding into somebody that's gonna bring fruit to you. This is not something that is coming to her back pocket so she can go buy a new car. She's going out there and putting her life on the line. When she goes feed these people, and these rewards will come back to you. You may not know about it, but in all due respect, the things that you do with her and help her do, it's gonna come back to you multiple times over. So what you're doing in secret, God knows what you're doing. So I'm not trying to hard sell you or anything, but I'm gonna tell you, every one of you it takes money to do stuff, to ride your bikes, to fix your bikes, to do whatever it is. Well, she needs a bike fixed. She needs help financially. So I'm telling you, get your pocketbooks out, hit the button, give her some money, whatever it is, whatever you can do, and tell somebody else about it. Don't just keep it to yourself.
And I
So
have
do
no
my part.
caps.
Huh?
I have no caps in the Senate.
There you go. I
People think there's a cap, I have no caps.
I mean, all that kind of stuff she can tell you about, but I'm just here to help my friend. And she deserves your help. That's why you're here. And so, a pat in the back is good, but a buck in our back pocket helps a lot more.
Thank you, Joe. You said it better.
I found another Joe to believe in me, Joe. 'Cause we got Joe Flynn here, brother, Mike Flynn. Oh, I thought he was coming to say some words. But anyway, I thank y'all so much for just being here and being with us.
What do we need?
And just means a
You
lot
gotta
to me.
get out there and work the streets. Get out there, you know how to work the streets. Those of you that have served on the military or in law enforcement, you get out there and you gotta work these streets again. It's knocking on doors, it's carrying around a sign on your bikes. You're a billboard, you're a driving billboard, right? That's why you have all these things on your jackets and stuff, because you're trying to promote and show off, something that you're a part of. You're proud of it. I want you to be proud of getting this great lady elected. I mean, all around this country, we need hundreds like Bianca.
Yeah.
We need them at local, we need them in counties, we need them in states. This is like a Joan of Arc, right? This is a Joan of Arc moment for her, and you know, firebrand, whatever. I mean, I'm telling you, this country is in a state of crisis, and if we don't have warriors stepping up, warriors, not politicians. Politicians have gotten us into this mess. We've allowed it. Now we need warriors, and we need fighters.
Statesman.
And we need statesmen. You're right, we need statesmen, but statesmen at different levels for different purposes.
Yes.
Okay, at this level, this is like, you know, when I think about military things, I mean, these are battles that we are fighting that we have to win. Okay, we have to win these battles in these local elections. So, anyway, Maria's trying to keep us on time.
Yeah, I know. And Councilman, I know you want to say a few
Yeah.
words?
I would just like to say, you're getting the real deal with Bianca.
Okay.
I've known Bianca for several years, and, first introduction that we had is, as a precinct chair, also to president of our homeowners association. And I wish y'all could sit in one of the HOA meetings with Bianca as president. You know, there's not a minute that goes by that's wasted. Every minute is focused on her neighbors or situations or issues within the city. And she's a real voice for her community. So you can only imagine what type of voice she'd be for, you know, our Senate district. So, you know, God bless you. Thank you for what you're doing, and your true passion has been there for as long as I've known you. You haven't changed. So thank you.
That means a lot to us. We're lucky to have you as a councilman. And it's easy to sit on the HOA board and then you have a problem, you go, hold on, I gotta call the councilman. Or hold on.
She's a caller.
Oh, and I do, I call y'all, and then, hold on, that's the mayor problem, let me call the mayor. Mayor, why haven't we done this? And he's like, oh, okay, we're gonna get on it. But, you know, so I pick up that phone and I get things done. I'd like to see if, Stephen Williford, will you close us out in prayer?
Absolutely.